Hey folks, how's it going? So something a bit bigger than usual here today. My friend owns a comic book store, and one of his customers had this model kit lying around for years. He never did anything with it, and he found out that I made models and kits and miniatures and everything. So he asked if I could put it together, paint it up, and make it a little more interesting than it would be if he was to do it himself. So that's what I did. Obviously, it's an alien figurine kit, or is this a Xenomorph? I'm not sure. From the movie Alien, anyway. Anyone that's a huge fan of that movie is probably going to get really annoyed at me for not knowing exactly what I'm talking about with this. But I'm just going off my basic knowledge of watching the movie when I was a kid. But anyway, the model kit itself was really old, and with that came a lot of problems. There were a lot of the kind of quality of the pieces that go together to making this weren't great. For example, the body came in two halves, split vertically down the side, and the front part of that, the legs down the bottom, were warped really badly out this way, which meant getting them together with the back half was really difficult. I had to use kind of glue and pin and then wrap elastic around it to hold it tight and stuff. And that was the similar story with all the pieces pretty much in this. They were all warped. There were huge gaps down the seams and stuff that needed filled. It was a real, I'll be honest, it was a real headache to put together. But you know, it's kind of just one of those things. It's something that I was asked to do, so I did it. And you know, came out better than I expected. While I was halfway through this, I was kind of, you know, tearing my hair out at it, but it's kind of come together and it looks alright, I think. So the kit was really hard to put together, but the kit alone only came with the figure. So I made this base. Just grabbed this is actually a wooden plinth style base thing that was already, you know, it's a pre-made thing that I got a hold of, and then added some texture just to make it look like rough gravel on the bottom here. And then these, the egg things, again, any fans of the Alien movie are going to be annoyed that I don't know exactly what comes out of these things. I think it's the face huggers that come out of these eggs, or baby aliens or something. But these, I just went off images that I got online. I actually used the insides of Kinder eggs. They're just chocolate eggs with a little plastic shell inside that have a toy in it, basically. I think they're banned in some areas of the world, probably in the States I think they're still banned, but here in Scotland they're not. So I just got a hold of some of those, the plastic eggs from the inside of those, and then obviously sculpted over the top with modeling putty just to give some detail and texture in there. These two, the one on the side here, and then this lone one over here, they're obviously closed, but this one is open. I just wanted to do that to give a bit of variation, but I just used half of one of the eggs for that, and then cut triangles from plastic card and then sculpted over it, obviously, to give it all the detail and texture. The paint job on this thing, another little bit of detail I did was just add some really fine clear plastic. It's almost like just plastic bag material that I cut really fine strips out of, and then drip glue down them just to give a little bit more kind of texture in there, to make it look like drool, because that's something I remember from the movie as a kid, is that when this thing was angry or chasing or whatever, or the little mouth grippy thing was coming out of its mouth, it was always drooling and stuff. So I wanted to do that just to add a bit more kind of interest and detail, and give a bit more life to it, really, so it wasn't quite such a static thing, because the pose overall is quite rigid, so I wanted to add something that just gave a little hint of movement or life into it. So that's what I chose to do there. The paint scheme for it, I was really kind of torn. It was tricky. A lot of the images I've seen, both from the movie and stills, some of them, you know, show this being a lot more metallic than the paint I went for, but others show it being quite dull and muted. So I decided not to go with too much metallics, or any metallics on the body, actually. I just went for various tones of black, grey and brown, just to build up some kind of variation in colour, so this thing wasn't just a black and grey model, but yeah, I mean, I could have gone in with probably a bit more metallics and stuff, but I was worried about this starting to look too much like a robot. And as I say, some of the images and stuff showed more metallic, some showed less, so I went for kind of a middle ground where there's a suggestion of color, but you know, not full on metallics, I guess. But I did use some metallics for the teeth up here, and kind of dry brushed a little bit around the mouth area, and then the nails on the hands and the feet here too. So yeah, that was the paint job for that. As I say, I was quite torn what to do, but you know, came out looking alright, I think. And then the sacks here, the eggs or whatever, obviously just went with the colours that I could find in reference material, the kind of greens and pinks of these things, and then added some glaze to the different parts just to try and give it different textures, so it looks kind of, you know, somewhere between dry and like a wet kind of thing. And then the gravel around the base of these things, I went in with a green glaze just to kind of give the idea that these were kind of saturated into the gravel here. I think these actually have some kind of like tendrils coming out the bottom, although again I wasn't entirely sure. So I just tried to suggest that idea that they're kind of rooted under the gravel here by raising those up a little bit. So there we go. As I say, a big piece, but I'm just away to take this down to the comic book store now, to, you know, pass that on to the client, the customer, whatever you want to call it. So very challenging, but it's, you know, something that's kind of it's taken a while to do as well, because I had a whole bunch of stuff going on in between. But yeah, we got there in the end. If I was to do this again, I don't think I would have taken it on, to be honest, just because the kit itself was so difficult to put together and such a headache. You know, bits kept popping off and bits, as I say, didn't fit, so had to be kind of, there was actually a couple of points on the arms, I think I had to heat up and melt back into shape, because they were that badly warped. So whether that's how the model was when it was produced, or just that's an effect of time and storage or something had caused these bits to warp, I'm not entirely sure. But either way, it was a challenge, but it's come out, you know, as something, so that's cool. But yeah, probably do more figurine style pieces in the future. I'm hoping to try and find some nice big model kits as well. A lot of the stuff I do tends to be on the miniature scale, but it would be nice to put together some more you know, big figurine style kits. But I'm struggling to find any, so if anyone has any suggestions, I'm struggling to find any that are interesting, like monsters and you know, creatures and beasts and stuff like that. A lot of the ones I tend to find are like the superheroes, which I'm not so into. But having said that, you know, just if there's any kind of decent large figurine model kit manufacturers or stores or websites or whatever that you could direct me to, that you know of, it'd be much appreciated if you could shoot those down in the comments. But until the next one, cheers for watching, and I will catch you all later. Goodbye.